Hello everyone. I hope you're having a gentle day. Today, we're stepping into a moment that looks small from the outside, almost funny, but slowly reveals something much deeper. It begins with a simple driving lesson on a quiet rural road. A scooter, nervous hands, soft laughter, and two people discovering that courage sometimes grows from the most ordinary places. You'll see Deep gripping the handlebars like they might betray her at any second. You'll hear James teasing her just enough to make her laugh instead of panic. You'll feel the way their small happiness begins to expand, into confidence, into honesty, into something fragile and brave. And just when the night feels safe, sweet potatoes crackling by the fire, warmth in their voices, truth spoken without armor, James's father returns, not in person, but as a shadow behind a vibrating phone, threatening once again to pull them apart. If this story speaks to you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what comes next. Now, let's begin. The scooter lurched forward for barely a heartbeat. Deep gasped, sharp and startled, like the machine had tried to steal her soul. She slammed the brakes so hard the front dipped, and the pale yellow scooter froze in the middle of the empty rural road with a small, offended squeak. For 1 second, her eyes went wide behind the helmet. Then she snapped her head toward James, cheeks burning. James stared at her, stunned. Then his mouth twitched. He tried to hold it in. He failed. "My love," he said, lifting both hands like a man surrendering to authority, "you stopped like the scooter just insulted your entire family." Deep blinked. "Because it did," she said defensively. "It jumped." "It didn't jump," James replied, stepping closer, his voice soft and teasing. "It listened to you. Your hands just shouted." "My hands are scared," she muttered, then frowned at herself, like she hated how small she sounded. Late afternoon light spilled gold across the rice fields. The narrow road beside her bamboo house was so quiet that even their laughter felt loud. James moved to her left side, close enough to catch her if she wobbled, careful enough not to make her feel like a child. "Okay, sweetheart," he said, shifting into teacher mode. "We breathe first, then mirror." "Brake, throttle, just a little, like you're patting a cat," Deep snorted. "Cat scratch." "Then like you're holding warm tea," he corrected, smiling. "Careful, calm," she nodded, jaw set with determination. She pushed the scooter forward. It didn't move. Deep stared at it, offended, as if it had personally betrayed her. "See?" she said, angry. James turned away and covered his mouth, shoulders shaking. "Deep," he said between laughs, "you forgot the kickstand." Her eyes widened. Then she lifted her chin with dramatic dignity. I was testing you. Of course you were, James said solemnly, crouching to flip it up. And I passed. I'm honored. Deep climbed back on, posture stiff. James didn't touch her, he just held the air near her, like a promise. Right hand, he reminded gently. Little throttle. Left hand, gentle brake. Eyes forward. She rolled ahead, slow as a careful secret. The scooter hummed. Her shoulders loosened, just a fraction. She stole a glance at James. He immediately pointed at the road, pretending to scold her. Eyes forward, darling. The road gets your focus. I already have your heart. Her lips twitched. Don't say things like that when I'm trying not to die. You're not dying, he said, laughing softly. You're learning. He placed a small stone farther ahead on the road. Okay, ride to the stone. And stop. Deep nodded, suddenly serious. She rode forward, and stopped a full meter before it, gripping the brake like it was the only loyal thing in her life. James tilted his head. Why so far? She swallowed, her voice smaller. Because if I get too close, you'll worry. His smile faded into something tender and fierce. He stepped closer, eyes warm behind his glasses. I don't worry when you get close, he said quietly. I worry when fear makes you stand alone. Deep looked down at her hands on the handlebars. The scooter was never her real fear. It's your father, she whispered. James's jaw tightened at the name, but he kept his voice steady. I know, he thinks you're not enough, she said, breath trembling. That loving me is a mistake. James reached up and adjusted her helmet strap, quick, respectful, grounding. Listen to me, he said, soft but unwavering. You are not a mistake. You're the bravest person I know. Today isn't about proving anything to him. It's about you feeling safe. Free. She blinked fast, then let out a shaky laugh. Free, while the scooter judges me, James grinned. It judges me too. I just pretend I don't care. That finally made her laugh, real laughter. Bright. Alive. For a few minutes, the road felt like it belonged to them. By dusk, Deep guided the scooter back and parked it properly, kickstand included. James clapped like she'd won an award, making her roll her eyes and smile anyway. They built a small fire. Sweet potatoes wrapped in foil rested in the flames. The firelight painted their faces orange and soft. The bamboo walls held the quiet like a shelter. Deep warmed her hands, eyes lost in the fire. What if he never accepts me? She asked quietly. Then we build a life that doesn't need his permission, James said, leaning closer. I choose you. Over and over. The potatoes crackled. James reached too soon, yelped, and shook his fingers dramatically. Deep burst out laughing. Slow down, coach. I got confident because you're inspiring, he said, grinning, soot smudged on his cheek. She leaned in and wiped it away with her fingertips, quick, gentle. James went still. His eyes dropped to her hand like it was the most precious thing in the world. Then the phone vibrated. Sharp, cold, out of place. James looked down at the screen, and the warmth in his face tightened. James, Deep whispered. Is it him? He didn't answer right away. He stared at the screen as if the name could bite, then flipped the phone face down on the bamboo step, refusing to let it sit between them. James, he reached for her hand, warm and steady. Yeah, he admitted softly. It's him. You should call back, she said. I will, he replied. But not like this. Not with you sitting here feeling like you're about to be judged in your own home. She tightened her fingers around the foil-wrapped potato. I'm used to being judged. His eyes hardened, just for a second, then softened when he looked at her. That's exactly what I hate, he whispered. You shouldn't have to be used to that. The fire popped. Smoke drifted upward. The glow made Deep look younger, gentler, like the version of her that still believed love could be simple. She tried to laugh. It came out thin. Your father, he always chooses the perfect time. Like he waits until I'm finally happy. James gave a low, humorless chuckle. He thinks timing is power. And he has power, Deep said quietly. Money. Reputation. People listen. People listen because they're afraid of him, James said. I'm not, she searched his face. You say that now. But he's your father. He's my father, James agreed calmly. But he doesn't get to own my life, her throat tightened. I don't want to be the reason you lose your family. James leaned closer until his shoulder brushed hers. My love, you're not taking anything from me. You're giving me something I never had, peace, she whispered, almost disbelieving. He nodded toward the quiet road, the bamboo house, the night. Out there, it's meetings and titles and pretending. Here, you laugh at me when I burn my fingers. You wipe soot off my face like it's normal. That's peace, she smiled despite herself. You were being reckless. I was hungry, he corrected, grinning. Her laugh this time sounded like relief, then her expression fell again. What did he say in the message? James hesitated. That hesitation was louder than words. He wants me to come home, he said. Tonight, her chest tightened. Because he knows you're here, he always knows, James said quietly. He has people. He has ways. That's dangerous, she said. You should go. He turned to her fully. Listen to me. I'm not scared of him. I'm scared of you thinking you have to push me away to protect me. She looked down. I don't want to push you away. I just don't want you to regret me. James lifted her chin with one finger, careful and affectionate. I don't regret you, he said. I regret every day I let him make you feel small. She blinked back tears. You did so well today, he added, brightening his tone on purpose. You learned throttle control, braking, balance. And you learned not to touch hot potatoes. She smiled. Exactly. They leaned together again, warmth settling between them, soft, safe, real. Deep rested her head against his shoulder. James rested his cheek against her helmet like he didn't care how it looked, only how it felt. The phone vibrated again, harder, a second call. James didn't flinch. Deep did. Please don't fight with him, she whispered. Not because I'm afraid of him. Because I'm afraid of what it does to you. James closed his eyes for a beat. Okay, he said quietly. No fight. He picked up the phone, but instead of answering, he stood and held out his hand to her. Come with me, she blinked. Where? His smile was tender. And underneath it, steel. If he wants to talk, James said softly, then he can hear my voice while I'm standing in front of the woman I love. Quote,